Episode 3. A series of events. The secretary assured her that her message would be recorded and passed on. He would make sure to call her back as soon as possible. Should I have just said we were related? Not just coincidentally share the same last name. Damn. I should have waited until his meeting was over, even if it took forever. And then demanded that he come to the phone and talk to me. She looked at the phone screen. She pressed a button. The screen came back to life. Should I call again? No, it's silly. She checked whether she'd put her phone on silent. No, it wasn't. She would definitely hear the call. Exhaling, the young woman got up from her bed and walked around the room. He will call. He won't be able not to. Jane put the phone in her pocket and stepped out onto the balcony without even glancing at her laptop. In a state of mind like that, working would hardly be possible. The morning air had not yet been heated by the sun and was pleasantly invigorating. Jane glanced at the neighboring balcony. It was empty, but her eyes quickly found Thomas. Well, well. One squat, then another. 8, 9. His leg muscles had been burning for the last 10 minutes, but he persevered. The long run on the sticky sand along the beach had not been easy, but Thomas stayed focused. Even on vacation, one must not forget to train regularly. Straightening, the man took several deep breaths. On we go. Dropping to the sand, he began to do push-ups. Jane was distracted by the sound of a door slamming. Someone came out onto the terrace. Lean over the railing and look, stay put. Lean over and check. She peered down. It was Michael. In his hand against his head, she noticed the black shape of a phone. Seeing the young woman, Michael offered a cool nod and stepped a little further away. Yeah, I've been there already. Michael bent down and picked up a flat, smooth pebble. Bob, don't change the subject. And don't tell me what time your workday starts. I know all about that. Thank you. How? I'm not in a position to choose right now. No, that's okay. He probably hasn't told anyone. The man tossed the pebble in his palm. I'll be leaving soon. The appointment is in an hour and a half. I don't care about rumors, Bob. Later. The pebble flew towards the sea. Michael spoke softly. Only fragments of his responses reached her. Besides, the wind was wafting delicious aromas from the open kitchen windows, so much so that Jane immediately felt hungry. Before heading downstairs, she approached the mirror. Okay, hairstyles yet again. I like the red one. Red one seems fine. Don't get me wrong, I like the long red hair, but I think I'm gonna go with the red braid. Yeah, why not? Yep, it's perfect. The closer she got to the kitchen, the more distinctly she could hear the sound of a knife chopping. Good morning. Jean waved her free hand and immediately resumed chopping vegetables. Hi, Jane. That smells wonderful. Thank you. Are you going to treat us to a variety of delicacies again? Yes. She stretched out the word with a special pleasure. Grillades with polenta, toast, and my favorite custard, donuts. That sounds delicious. Mademoiselle Dubois knows how to please her guests. She set the knife aside and began placing the chopped vegetables on a plate. It's just a shame that we won't be a full group for breakfast. Won't Lee be here? No, she went to the city. She got up earlier than I did. She was on the phone ordering a taxi in the living room when I came in. I offered her coffee, but she declined. It must be something very urgent to refuse coffee in the morning. Jane nodded with a smile. Actually, Lee asked for tea, and I had just brewed some herbal tea. Jean finished the plate and pointed to the teapot. I poured her a cup, but she left without even tasting it. It cooled a bit, but now it's well steeped. Want some? I'm more of a coffee person. I'll just take some water, please. How dare you? No, I'll try the tea, with pleasure. Jean took out 2 elegant, elaborately decorated cups. You never know what you'll find in the attic of an old hotel. I save them for special moments now. She took one and twirled it in her hand. Unusual cup. Yeah, it's interesting. So beautiful. I found them by accident. I wanted to tidy up there, but as soon as I opened the first box, all the cleaning stopped. Oh, that's familiar. I'd planned to go up there again this week, but who would have predicted the cradle would suddenly become so popular? She returned the cup to Jean. Are you, eagerly awaiting for all of us to leave so you can resume cleaning? Jean burst out laughing. Eagerly, more like, us with a slight fear. Jane remembered the attic in her childhood home, the creaky wooden steps, the dimly lit light bulb, her parents' laughter, their warm hands, and a sense of protection. There you go. Jean handed her a cup filled with a clear, pale, reddish liquid. I added some hibiscus petals. Jane inhaled the aroma. It was slightly tart with a light citrus note. And there's also lemon balm in it. It's calming. Oh, exactly what I need. At least someone appreciates it. It's rarely to others' liking. As for me, that's why I love herbs. You mix them and get a unique taste each time. Jane took a sip and smiled. The herbal infusion was very pleasant, mild in taste. Thank you. She set the cup down. The phone in her pocket seemed to twitch. Jane immediately pulled it out, but nothing appeared on the screen. I must have imagined it. The woman sighed in frustration and set her phone on the table. Waiting for a call? Yes. Jean took a carton of milk and some eggs out of the fridge. Whoever is supposed to call will call. I hope so. She looked at her guest and chuckled. Do you cook? Only when I have to. And then it's always something simple. I don't like wasting time on it. But if I had a hotel, then I'd hire a chef. They laughed. Have you ever made beignets with custard? No, what is it? Square donuts. They don't take much time to make. From Jean's eyes, Jane could tell that she was up to some mischief. Do you want me to help you with them? No, I want to distract you. Anyway, the donuts are already ready. She lifted a towel over the tray, covering with paper napkins, on which fluffy squares were laid out. The last thing to be done is to make the custard. I could eat one just like that. Not without the creme pâtissier to help me make it, and then you can taste them. That's extortion. I call it mutually beneficial cooperation. You'll have a little distraction, and in return you'll get something to eat that we've made together. Jane looked at her phone. Nothing. So will you help me? Gladly. Jean clapped her hands happily. You're going to be my first student. She pulled out a saucepan from the kitchen cabinet. Here's a whisk for you. Take 4 eggs, mix them with sugar. 1 cupful will be enough. Jane began to blend everything into a smooth mixture. Be bolder. Okay. Now, 3 tablespoons of flour. All at once. 1 at a time. When Jane finished with the flour, Jean stood next to her and started pouring in the milk. With custard, what's the most important thing is not to rush. Jane caught a light floral aroma with notes of vanilla and musk. The scent. How delicate. Did you add vanilla to the custard? Jane looked at the other woman in confusion. No, not everyone likes it, so I didn't add any. Ah, it must be my perfume. Jane suddenly realized that Jean was closer to her than ever before. Why not? Thank you. She looked up. Their eyes met, and Jane noticed the self-conscious smile on Jean's lips. The Creole woman immediately turned away, either out of embarrassment or because she poured more milk than she should have. Or perhaps some other reason. What's next? Jean put the milk back in the fridge and placed the saucepan on low heat. Now keep stirring it so no lumps form. After a few minutes, she added some butter. When it melted, Jean dipped it in a teaspoon and tasted the custard. Well, how is it? Divine. You did great. What an aroma, Jane. Is that you cooking? Thomas peeked into the kitchen without entering. It's Jane. I'm just giving her moral support. That comes in handy, too. He looked at the dishes arranged on the table. May I ask an impolite question? 10 minutes. Huh? 10 minutes, and everything will be ready. Was my question that obvious? It's just intuitive. Thomas smiled, nodded, and then headed towards the stairs in the living room. Another early bird. He went to the beach in the morning, even though the water wasn't warm yet. He didn't swim. Sorry? He was working out. I could see him from my balcony. They worked on the food, and for a while, Jane was indeed distracted. But no matter how hard she or Jean tried, her anxious thoughts returned. And with them came the constant urge to check her phone. In addition to the absent Lee, Michael had not reappeared by the time breakfast was ready again. Jane hadn't seen him since he had gone out on the terrace. Jean called him and Thomas to breakfast, but apparently Michael was busy with something. Needless to say, Jean didn't bother to repeat her summons. I saw him on the terrace this morning. Maybe he left, too? He was on the phone. About business, it seemed, so it's possible. Breakfast was a success again. Jean was beaming, receiving well-deserved compliments. But she wasn't the only one receiving a praise. Jane, you have surpassed your teacher. The vignettes have never been this delicious. Jean. Good morning, everyone. Jean, is there any hot coffee available? Michael, who had just appeared in the doorway, adjusted his shirt sleeves. Good morning. Yes, I'll pour you some. Just a second. Don't bother, I can do it. Are the mugs here? He reached for the cupboard. Jane nodded. Yes. Michael chose a large mug. He poured himself some of the coffee and approached the table. There, he picked up a donut, spread the custard over it, and took a bite. Won't you sit down? I don't have time. I'm heading to the city. This donut is a masterpiece, though. He took a big sip of his coffee. The phone in Jane's pocket rang. She immediately dropped her cutlery and looked at the screen. An unknown number. Is it him? Or is it just from his office calling to tell me Mr. Dawson is extremely busy? Excuse me. I have to take this. Of course. Good luck. Jane got up from the table and quickly headed to her room. Is she, okay? She looked as if a ghost were calling. I don't know who it is. Michael contemplated for a moment and decided to ask, Thomas, do you need a ride? I'm driving. I rented a car yesterday. I have a meeting, but it's scheduled for later. Michael finished the donut and spread his arms. Well, then sorry. You'll have to get there all by yourself. Yep, but, thank you. Jane tapped her phone to answer the call. The person on the other end was in no hurry to start the conversation. I'll go with hello. Jane? Oh my God. Jane thought she had forgotten his voice. Even if another decade had passed, she would still recognize the slightly hoarse voice of her father. Her heart stopped. Long forgotten memories flashed before her eyes. For a moment, she was transported back to her childhood, to when that voice had been much more common. She entered her room and closed the door tightly. Jane, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Hello. I was told you called. Yes. Surely she wanted to say something more elaborate and coherent. But the bombardment of memories and excitement took away her ability to speak. Her father, it seemed, didn't exactly know what to do either. Did you want something? An uncomfortable pause hung in the air. Both understood that those were not the words that he should have said. Jane hadn't imagined the conversation going that way. Of course, she hadn't expected it to be joyful and heartfelt either, but she didn't think it would be so dry and awkward. Yeah, I'm in Louisiana. Oh, that's great. Pause. Are you staying here long? No. I thought we could meet. Forcing the words out, she leaned her back against the door. She wanted to feel supported. Yes, of course. When? Today? Today? There was a rustling of pages. Actually, I'm on a very tight schedule this week. Those words pierced the young woman like a hot needle. I won't be long. I won't keep you from your business. The man on the other end fell silent. He flipped through a few pages in his notebook. Then he sighed wearily. Come to my office right now. I have another appointment here. But after that, I'll have a little free time. Then I'll be on the road until night. The address. I haven't.
Good, then I'll see you soon.
See you. Then she heard the tone of the call ending. She sank to the floor, the hand holding the phone trembling slightly. She hadn't realized how tightly she'd been clenching her fingers during that call. A few minutes later, having composed herself, she went downstairs. And although the conversation had seemed endless, the scene in the dining room hadn't changed. Everyone was still in their places. Jean and Thomas sat at the table. Michael stood, finishing his coffee. Jean nodded, asking a silent question, but Jane just shook her head. I'm gonna go to the city, Jean. Could you please call me a taxi? I'm going there anyway. I can give you a ride. Jane looked at the man. You overheard Michael's phone call. After the conversation she'd overheard the previous day, Michael seemed a little like a dubious and worrisome figure. Jane? If Michael doesn't mind, I'll go with him. Yes, please call one. No need, I'll go with Michael. If Michael doesn't mind, I'll go with him. Michael nodded. No problem. I just need about 5 minutes to get ready. Will you wait? He looked at his watch. Yeah, I'll be outside. It was hard to believe that she would see her father soon. It's been so many years. She looked down at her purse, which held the family photo inside. How everything has changed. All right, time to go. Casual outfit. Business. Bright. Luxurious. Buy them all. Hold on, I want to go back. Bright is very making me happy now. I'll go with casual. When Jane came back downstairs to the living room, Jean was waiting for her there. I'll see you off. Are you okay? Yes. The one who was supposed to call did. You were right. My intuition never fails. I hope when you come back, I'll see a smile on your face again. That's unlikely. It'll just be nice if I don't feel like locking myself in my room. Buckle up. Are you a dangerous driver? No, I'm someone who's seen what happens to people who don't use their seatbelt. They were silent for a while, but when the outlines of the city appeared in the distance, Michael broke the silence. Where do you want me to drop you off? Do you know the address? Yes, here. She took out a folded piece of paper from her pocket with the address of her father's law office on it. There's a map in the glove compartment. Check it out. Jane took out the map and found the street she needed. Only a block from my destination. Do you know how you'll get back to the guest house? I'll call a cab. You can call me when you're done. I might still be around. He dictated his number to her. That's very kind of you. Of me? He stifled a laugh. If only everyone thought so much of me. Next time you can take me with you. I'll tell whoever needs to know that you're a good guy. A good guy, huh? I'll keep that in mind. It's a good deal. As compensation for your driving services. You help me, I help you. That's not how I was thinking of our trip. How were you thinking of it? The man smirked. As charity. The city was rapidly approaching. When Michael stopped at her intersection, Jane got out of the car. With a curt, "See you later," the man drove off. She crossed the street and sat down on a bench near the Watchword Group office. She didn't feel like going inside. Out there, she felt space, freedom, a certain inner peace. Jane took out her cell phone and began typing a message. "I'm near the office." Her fingers hovered over to the send button. Jane knew she could leave at any moment. And yet, she was afraid. She was afraid that when her father came out of the building, she wouldn't recognize him. And that he wouldn't recognize her. That their eyes would meet and the thought would flash, "Is that him?" But neither would dare approach. That they would have to resort to phone calls and then walk awkwardly towards each other. Jane looked at the message again. "I'm already here anyway." I do like the fact that there's like that trolley moving in the back. I like that. It's nice. "I'm near the office." Sent. The message flew through invisible channels directly to the phone of someone who had once been close to her. Or maybe he still was. The door swung open and several men in suits appeared. Jane looked up, scanning their faces timidly, but none of them seemed familiar. She flinched at her vibrating phone, but it wasn't a call, it was a message.
"Finishing up. We'll be there soon."
She put the phone away and began to wait, watching the passerbyers in the city. Everything was so different and from what she was used to. Streets bathed in southern sun, jazz.
"Jane?"
She turned around. The sun was directly behind the approaching man, blinding her slightly so she couldn't make out his face. But the voice.
"Goodness, you have changed."
She rose from the bench and looked at the man. "It's him. It's him." She tilted her head to the side, studying his features carefully. He's aged. He has lines around his eyes. The way he looks is different. "You've changed too." The man smiled and said cheerfully, but a little theatrically,
For better, I hope."
"You've grown older."
"Yes, time spares no one. But you, what a beautiful young woman you've become."
"Thank you."
When the secretary said Jane Dawson Cole, I first thought it was a coincidence of names. Now here you are, and all grown up."
There seemed to be pride in his voice. Or maybe it was just imagination.
"Shall we? There's a nice place nearby where I usually eat lunch."
"Sure. Lead the way." The man looked at his watch and then at her. He smiled uncertainly. Jane walked slightly behind the man. She still couldn't believe that the man in the expensive suit walking ahead of her was her father. They had finally met, but there were too many buts. When they reached a nondescript old restaurant, her father opened the door and let her enter first. It wasn't crowded inside. Patrons were eating lunch, talking quietly. Soft music from the speakers encouraged leisurely conversations. Father sat at the empty table and ordered coffee. She pointed to the first tea she saw. Her emotions seemed to have been turned off, out of commission, and with them her words vanished too. Otherwise, where would the silence have come from? So awkward, cold, strange. As if there was an impenetrable wall between them.
Where are you staying?"
"Outside the city, a small hotel."
Nice. And are you here long?"
"We'll see. I don't know yet."
"Alone?"
She didn't answer immediately. "Yes." The drinks were brought. Her father took a sip.
Great place, great coffee. And not many people come here for lunch sometimes.
So you said.
Oh, did I? Well...
He hesitated, and her apathy suddenly turned to growing irritation. She could tell that he wanted to ask something really important, to talk about something that could only concern the two of them. Why don't you say you missed me?
Are you here on vacation or business?
Why don't you ask about Mom?
If you need anything, you can always call me. I know some serious people.
Dad.
Yes?
She looked him straight in the eye. Mom died. His hands dropped, the false cheeriness in his eyes faded. He suddenly looked even older. An old man in a brand new, expensive suit. Why is the music so quiet? The man didn't say a word. He stared unblinkingly at one spot. Basically, that's why I wanted to see you. You seem busy. I guess I should go. He remained silent even after she left, still staring at that one spot. A movie reel of memories playing before his eyes. It was easier to breathe outside. I had to go turn up the volume a little. Seriously. That's it. I've told him I can leave now. Jane felt as if she had shed a heavy burden, and by leaving the restaurant, she had also shed the conversation she did not need. He didn't say goodbye when he left either. Now we're even. She grinned bitterly. Okay, and then the volume just goes, "Hi, how are you? I'm back." Call Michael. Maybe he'll still be in the city. I'll call a taxi. Time to go back to the cradle. Alright, Michael, 50 diamonds. Better be worth it. She didn't want to go back with a random driver, especially since Michael seemed like someone who respected personal space and didn't pry. Jane took out her phone and dialed his number. Yes. Michael, it's Jane. I recognized you. Are you still around in the city? Yes, I'm still here. But I'll be done soon. Are you going to the cradle after? Can you pick me up? No problem. Are you done there? Yeah. Okay, well, walk 1 block up the street, find the city hospital building, then call me. I'm nearby. Sure thing. He hung up, and she was glad for the chance to walk through the sunlit city. And as she walked slowly, tears streamed down her cheeks. Michael emerged from the hospital, obviously pleased and in a good mood. Hello again. You're positively glowing. That's strange. The radiology department in this hospital is on a different floor. She burst out laughing. I didn't think you could joke like that. I have become a mystery to myself, and that is my, infirmity. Whose words are those? St. Augustine's. Shall we go, or would you like to see more of the city? Another time. Let's go. Michael turned on the radio and spent a while choosing a station. Jazz. Oh my god, can I just get some news? Do you listen to the news? Not really, but around here anything but this music doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Soon, the steady voice of an announcer came over the speakers. Oh, finally. You were quick. Finished with your business? Yep, you were quick too. I don't like to procrastinate. And now for the weather. I saw you coming out of the hospital. Patient or doctor? Which do I look more like? I guess you're a doctor. You know where the radiology department is. Ooh, good point. A doctor. You carry yourself too confidently for a patient. Radiology department. Wow, you didn't miss that one. Did I guess right? Yes. A neurosurgeon, to be more precise. When I first saw you, I thought you might be more of a businessman or some kind of manager. Or even a hospital superintendent. I prefer delving into brains rather than paperwork. So you came to work at this hospital? Suddenly the smile disappears from his face. Depends. The cyclone was finally weakened, and now a little jazz. Oh, come on. Upon arriving at the cradle, Jane went straight to her room to shower away the bitterness and road dust. Stepping out of her shower, she looked at the sun as it began to slip from its zenith. Then, at the laptop. When am I going to finally deal with you? Sitting within four walls and writing a novel didn't appeal to her, so she took the laptop and headed for the beach. On the terrace, Jane noticed a solitary female figure. Lee? She was sitting in the chair with her legs folded under her and her face buried in her knees. Hi. Lee started and looked up. Hi, Jane. Are you okay? You look upset. Upset? She raised her eyes to the sky. I'm a murderer, Jane. Okay. Let's thank the devs. Which, by the way, devs, if you ever happen to watch my videos, I do like the whole you can watch something now to give diamonds back. I do like that. Alright, so that episode was pretty well done. We'll give it 5 stars, why not? And let's go to stats. 4 logic, 0 emotion, 2 achiever, finally got some achiever points, and 0 to observer though. Diamonds! Alright, so pretty much that is it for now. The next time that they will be updating is a little over a month and a half from now, May 28th to May 30th. So do keep that in mind. So, stay tuned for then. Otherwise, if you did enjoy the work that I do and my readings and my choices, make sure to like the video. Also, consider sharing the video, sharing the channel. Getting the word out we do exist here. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe if you aren't already, especially if you want to receive more content. Speaking of more content, woo, look, the update, woo, yeah, no, I gotta cover all these new chapters. The only thing that, isn't updating, which I've kind of given up at this point, is the Love, Sin, and Evil one. I was really partial to that book, but oh well, it's been like a year at this point, so I'm kind of giving up. So, pretty much stay tuned for all these other ones. I'll cover those ASAP, but today we've got out 3 chapters, or may I say episodes of this, ASAP. So, again, let me know your thoughts down below. Catch you all later. Peace out.